I, remain the I, remove the I, and remove the want. What remains is peace. Our own I is the greatest obstacle. Our own ego is the greatest obstacle to our peace. Our wants, our desires, our expectations is the greatest obstacle to have peace. These spiritual leaders always tells us how to take care of this ego, how to take care of this I, which has become a great barrier between us and our families, in the foundations, in the nations, in the world. This is the greatest barrier. Let us make this barrier a bridge. This I, vertical I, when you write I, vertically when you write I, this I becomes the barrier between everybody, becomes the wall, becomes the boundary. You can't cross over it. And the same I, when you bend it horizontally, becomes the bridge. In our life, in our families, we have to do very simple thing, bend ourselves. Nobody is ready to bend. That's why there's a problem. There's no peace in the family. And no peace within us. The moment we become ready to become humble, to become polite, peace is just there. And you, rather than becoming the barrier, you become a bridge. We need to become a bridge. In our family, in our communities, and wherever we go. For that, only simple reason our seers and sages has given to us. Because in front of people is difficult to bend. It's not easy. But in front of the divine, when you close your eyes, you are in the prayers, you are in meditation, immediately from your mouth comes, "Oh Lord, you are everything. I am just dust. I am nothing." But if you go out and somebody else tells you, "Hello, Mr. Dust," "Hello, Mr. Dusty," nothing, becomes a trouble. But in front of the divine, we are nothing. We are just dust. We become so humble, so polite. "Oh Lord, you are everything. I am nothing." This is the way. The way you bend yourself in front of the divine, see the same divine in everyone, immediately bending will be there. In Indian culture, it's a beautiful thing. Just today I was just going through the Judaism also. This was telling how in Judaism is told how to respect their parents. For the children there was a message. How you should see your parents, how you should respect them. In Indian culture, that was the first thing taught to us. When you get up in the morning, touch the feet of your parents. Get the blessing from them. And when you go to the bed, before you go to bed, touch the feet of the parents, get the blessing and go to bed. Why was that? Bending yourself. But we bend to the murtis, we bend to the statues, we bend to the deities, we bend to the idols. But when it comes to bend, in front of the people who live with, they are the real people we live with. In temple you go only for few minutes, maybe in weekends, and you come back. These are the people, you have to live with them. And when you are living with them, you have to remember, see first divine in them. And when you see divine in them, immediately change starts happening. Change is subtle. It comes. And comes gradually, and one day you are changed. In our temples, we were told that when you go to temple, in India, in every village, outside of the village, there was a temple. When you go to Europe, everywhere in outside the suburb or city, you will notice beautiful churches there. Same in India. The temples are there. And the rule was, when you go to your work, before you go to your work, first thing you do, go to the temple. And people would go to the temple, bow their head in front of the divine, take the 3 parikramas. They go around the temple 3 times. Then they come back and again bow their head. Oh Lord, you are my center. Why these 3 parikramas? You are my center. And when I am going to work, you be the center. I should work around you. And when center is forgotten, when the divine is forgotten, then we try to be the center. And mostly it happens, whether we are in the pub, clubs, parties, we try to be the center. And when we try to be the center, then you lose your peace. You lose your peace immediately. To make the divine in the center, make him the center figure in your life. And when he becomes the center, your selfish I, when it merges in the holy feet of the divine, the supreme I, believe me, you start becoming divine. And that I is taken care of by through devotion, through meditation, through prayers, when you dedicate yourself to the divine. Last, our desires. Our desires has no end. Our wants have no ends. No ends. Unlimited. You fulfill one, hundreds more are there to be fulfilled. I remember once I was in Kashmir in early 70s. And we went all the way to Kashmir, to Amarnath. After we had the yatra of Amarnath, we came back and stayed in Srinagar. Beautiful place. So many people were with us. We loved the place. We said, and people started saying, why not 3 more days? And we stayed for 3 more days. And somebody said, let us have 1 week. Who knows when we'll come again? We stayed for 1 whole week, and every day we would go to Shikara, that in the Dal Lake, in the boat, special boat. And we used to sit there, meditate, and have the satsang. People loved so much. They said, we are going to come very soon again to Srinagar. That was the last day. We had a beautiful meditation. When we were just about to leave that place, the person who was handling the finances went to the boat manager and talked to him to take care of the accounts. The boatman said, first time it happened in my life that somebody came, I felt so happy here in the company of you all. I don't need money for this 1 week. This is all free. This is my dakshina to Swamiji. But I want to have just 5 minutes alone with him. And that will be my dakshina. That will be my 7 days, whatever you have spent here. I don't want to have any charge from you. The manager came back, talked to Swamiji, so we were together. And Swamiji said, no problem. It is so wonderful that he is so impressed, he is so charged, and that he doesn't want to charge us even anything financially. And